Okay, so now we're going to look at a couple more examples. So again, number 28 here, you have a binomial on the bottom. So we have to multiply by that complex conjugate. So we're going to multiply by 1 minus I over 1 minus I. So again, all you're doing is you're changing the sign that is part of your binomial. Okay, everything else is the same, you're just changing the sign. So we're going to multiply negative 2i times 1, so that's negative 2i. Negative 2i times negative I is going to be positive 2i squared. In the bottom, 1 times 1 is 1. 1 times negative I is negative I times 1 is positive I times negative I is negative I squared. And again, the point is that the i's are getting canceled out in the bottom, so there's no i's here. Replace all the I squareds, with negative 1. So negative 2i plus 2 times negative 1 over 1 minus negative 1. Okay? So put the number first. So negative 2 minus 2i over 1 plus 1, which is 2. Okay? This can be reduced now. All of these can be divided by 2. So I'm going to end up having negative 1 minus I over 1, but I don't need the 1 in the bottom. Okay, so just negative 1 minus I. For number 30, again, we need to multiply by that complex conjugate. So we're going to just change the sign in the middle. So we're going to multiply by I plus 2 over I plus 2. Okay, so we have to FOIL. I times I is I squared. I times 2 is 2i. 2 times I is 2i. 2 times 2 is 4. In the bottom, I times I is I squared. I times 2 is 2i. Negative 2 times I is negative 2i. Negative 2 times 2 is negative 4. And again, the i's in the bottom will cancel. Now replace all of the I squareds with negative 1. So negative 1 plus 4i plus 4 over negative 1 minus 4. So I'm going to have 4 and a negative 1. So that's going to give me 3 plus 4i on the top. And on the bottom, I have negative 1 minus 4. So that's going to be negative 5. So you can leave this as your answer. If you want to get rid of the negative 5 in the bottom and make it a positive 5, you can rewrite this as negative 3 minus 4i over positive 5. Okay, either one is an acceptable answer. So now what we're going to do is we're going to look at the quadratic formula involving complex numbers. So just like what we did last class, we're going to plug this stuff into the quadratic formula. So first thing, identify A, B, and C. So A is going to be 3, B is going to be negative 7, C is going to be 5. So we're just going to plug these in. So I'm going to have x equals positive 7 plus or minus the square root of negative 7 squared minus 4 times 3 times 5 all over 2 times 3. So if we evaluate what's inside, we're going to get 7 plus or minus the square root of 49 minus 60 over 6. So if we continue to evaluate the inside, we're going to end up with a negative number inside of our radical. We get negative 11 over 6. Okay, so we can't have a negative inside of our radical, so we're going to take out the I. So our answer is going to be 7 plus or minus I radical 11 over 6. Okay, so this has two imaginary solutions. So if you look at the discriminant, like we talked about last class, the discriminant, remember, is the number under the radical. So our discriminant is negative 11. Since it's a negative, we have 0 real solutions. So what that means is that if you go to graph this, this is going to be floating, one of those floating graphs that doesn't cross the x-axis. So there are two imaginary solutions, meaning they don't touch the x-axis. So they wouldn't show up on our graph. Okay. All right, let's look at another one. Okay, so again, let's plug it in. X equals negative 8, so negative 5, plus or minus the square root of 5 squared minus 4 times negative 4 times negative 3, all over 2 times negative 4. Okay, so what we have is negative 5 plus or minus, we have 25 minus 48 over negative 8. So if we keep going, negative 5 plus or minus the square root of negative 23 over negative 8. So again, 23, we can't break it down, so it would stay 23, but we're going to take out the I. So negative 5 plus or minus I square root of 23 over negative 8. Okay, so you can leave that as your answer. If you want to get rid of the negative 8 in the bottom and make it a positive, again, just change all your signs. So that your other answer, you can have x equals positive 5 plus or minus I radical 23 over positive 8. And the reason that the I isn't changing to a negative I is because of that plus or minus. The plus or minus, if I change it from a positive I to a negative I, it's not going to change it because of that plus or minus. So we leave that as our answer. Okay? Alright, so here's a couple that you guys can try. I'm just going to write them out so you have the answers. And so x equals negative 1 plus or minus the square root of 1 squared minus 4 times negative 3 times negative 3 all over 2 times negative 3. So that's x equals negative 1 plus or minus the square root of 1 minus 36 over negative 6. X equals negative 1 plus or minus the square root of negative 35 over negative 6. 35 can't break down, so just take out the I. So I square root 35 over negative 6. Okay, so again, you can take 4 x equals positive 1 plus or minus I radical 35 over positive 6. Okay, so either way is fine. Okay, in the second one, let's fill this out. 4 plus or minus the square root of negative 4 squared minus 4 times 2 times 7 all over 2 times 2. When I do this, I'm going to end up with 16 minus 56 on the inside over 4. So this is going to give me a negative 40. So since I can break down the 40, I can break 40 down into 2 times 10, and then 10 is 2 times 5. So I have a pair of 2's and a 5 left over. So I'm going to rewrite that first. So plus or minus 2I square root of 10 over 4. So just like when we did the quadratic formula last class, we want to make sure we simplify the radical first before we divide anything out. So from here, we can now divide by 2, but be careful. Do not divide the square root of 10 by 2. Okay, if it's a square root, it has to stay the way it is. So you can only divide the 4, the 2, and the 4, okay, not the 10. So our answer is going to be 2 plus or minus I square root of 10 over 2. So now this is as simplified as it can be. And the last one, x equals 2 plus or minus the square root of negative 2 squared minus 4 times 1 times 2 all over 2 times 1. So I'm going to get 2 plus or minus the square root of 4 minus 8 all over 2. So this will simplify to be the square root of negative 4. And I know that the square root of 4 is 2, so I'm going to take out a 2i. So 2i over 2. Everything can now be divided by 2. So x equals 1 plus or minus